Hello everyone, welcome to the Keystone CAPS National Party. We hope you all are doing well during this corona occasion. Please stay home, stay safe, and wash your hands.
Hi you guys and welcome. Today's topic will be about
alcohol
with WVBGC Keystone.
Now class, today we will learn informational facts about alcohol.
Hello everybody, Annabelle here reporting with breaking news about alcohol misuse and moderation. Let's get our education news anchor Dara Fashola to deliver the news. On to you, Dara.
Hello, my name is Dara Fashala and I am with Annabelle, situated in Los Angeles, California. As Annabelle said, we have breaking news today regarding alcohol misuse, use, and moderation. Back to you.
Can you tell me exactly what does alcohol do to the body?
Well, most scientists best understand alcohol as a drug that reduces a person's ability to think clearly or rationally and distorts his or her judgment. Scientists like to classify alcohol as a sedative hypnotic drug, and what this means is that it actually acts upon the central nervous system and depresses it as a result. It can depress vital functions in the body as well, and it can ultimately result in slurred speech, unsteady movement/gait, and also disturbed perceptions of reality, which is what is real or not. We see that, in addition, it reduces the body's ability to react quickly, or its reaction time, which can be especially lethal in life-threatening situations. These effects are especially seen when alcohol is consumed at very high doses. Short-term alcoholic effects, such as an alcohol overdose, at one time causes very severe depressant effects, such as the inability to feel pain, toxicity to the point that the body vomits the poison, and finally unconsciousness, or even worse, coma or death from severe toxic overdose, which would be classified as its long-term effects. It's universally agreed, though, that these reactions depend on how much is consumed and how quickly. Back to you, Annabelle.
Can alcohol have different effects on different people?
Yes, actually, we consistently see that many people that drink alcohol are going to drink it for its stimulant effect, such as drinking beer or a glass of wine to loosen up or relax. But if a person consumes more than their body can handle at one point in time, they can experience alcohol's depressant effect. So as I reiterated, alcohol has both a stimulant effect and depressant effect. People will start to feel stupid, down, and lose concentration and control. We also see that many components actually factor into how a person feels after or while they're drinking alcohol, such as height, weight, and these contribute to the uniqueness of each individual's alcohol tolerance and response to the drug.
Wow, that was a lot. Last question before we have to sign off today, Dara. Is there any way to moderate alcohol consumption, and how?
Well, we see that alcohol moderation actually has a very positive effect on the body, though it must be done correctly to actually be effective. The actual definition of moderate drinking is similar to a balancing sort of act, and is the point at which the health benefits of consuming alcohol clearly outweigh the risk. Note that I said clearly. Latest research points to no more than 1 to 2 drinks a day for men, and no more than 1 single drink a day for women. We see that moderate amounts of alcohol raise levels of high-density lipoprotein, which is HDL, and this is good cholesterol, the type of cholesterol that you want to have in your body. And higher HDL levels are associated with greater protection against heart disease. Moderate drinking seems to be good for the heart and the circulatory system, and has a probability of protecting against type 2 diabetes and gallstones. Back to you.
Wow, thank you so much for joining us today, Dara, and delivering the news.
Of course. My name is Dara Fashala, and I'm situated in Los Angeles, California. Happy to help.
Thank you all for tuning in today, and we'll see you next time during our next breaking news report. Now on to our next segment in the show.
Now, let's hear stories from people who have dealt with alcohol.
What are the risks or dangers of alcohol use, and for example, to your health or to your relationship?
Yeah. Spot on. I think both of those. Primary one is your health, right? Especially if you start drinking young. Drinking over time really starts affecting your internal organs. There's something called cirrhosis of the liver, which is a pretty common organ damage that someone receives with prolonged drinking. You could get also some damage to your kidneys. And if you don't damage any internal organs, you damage your mental health. There's a condition called wet brain, where someone over time has drank themselves so much that they literally are not cognizant of what they're doing. They're not really coherent. They can't really process information. And it's very sad, it's very sad that it had to get to that point when it comes to one's health. The other characteristics is relationships, as you mentioned. When you're under the influence of alcohol or drugs, it's really difficult for you to process healthy relationships with your own family, with your own friends, at work. You see folks being very emotional when it comes to anger or when it comes to joy. This instability comes from being always under the influence of a mood-altering substance, alcohol or drugs, and eventually just destroys folks. We see time and time again, and it's sad to say, but at least once or twice a year, we'll see a death in recovery because of the folks that just had challenges unable to recover.
Do you have any advice for us high school students?
I want to really highlight that there is help out there. That your family, even though it may sound to you if you're having alcohol problems, that they're just judging you or criticizing you, they're coming from a place of fear for your life. They want you to see the best version that you are. They want to see the best person that has the potential to be so successful. And that's what they're mostly afraid of. So my advice is that if you find yourself in the future having some challenges with alcohol or drugs, raise your hand and say, I need help. Because what you're going to get is not what you see on TV. You're going to get people that are like-minded coming around you saying, I know exactly how you're feeling, and this is how I got out of it. We will be able to tell you how you could get out of that hole that you feel that you're in. And you also may make a bunch of friends. It's described in this recovery book called The Big Book that people in recovery are like folks that survived a plane crash, right? You may not all have normally met together, but you have this one bond that you're a survivor of one thing. So that's my best advice. If you find yourself you have challenges, there is a solution out there. You can get the help.
What substance or substances do people most often come to recovery for help with?
We've always seen quite commonly alcohol and drugs being the most frequently abused substances, with marijuana being the primary one as far as opening the door for other hardcore drugs. And I think the way that we look at it is more of the behavior that goes behind it. Addictive behavior really drives what substance someone's taking. So it could go literally, someone could start with alcohol and have a huge problem with alcohol, stop to alcohol, then start taking drugs. But primarily those would be the ones that folks are really struggling with when they walk into the doors of any recovery room.
What was the reason drinking became a habit?
I think it started off innocently. I think it started off because I wanted to fit in. I didn't want to be the only one not drinking. I gave into peer pressure. And then ultimately it was, ditching parties, it was kickbacks. And then it ultimately became, a everyday thing. I started drinking. I was a weekend warrior. I would drink Fridays and Saturdays. And then that slowly but surely progressed into me drinking by myself, me going out to bars. And then there wasn't never a good time not to drink. If I felt sad, I drank. If I felt happy, I drank. Any type of emotion that I wanted to either get away from or make better in my eyes, I drank. So that's when it became a habit.
What was the hardest part about recovery?
The hardest part recovery for me, hands down, was admitting that I had a problem. Like I said, I was the last person to find out that I had an issue. I was in such denial. But once I admitted and completely surrendered to the idea that I will never, ever be a normal drinker, because every time I picked up a drink, every time I put alcohol on these lips, nothing but bad things would happen to me. So once I completely surrendered to that idea, and once I started going to meetings, working the steps, and getting in contact with people that were in recovery, that's when things started kind of working its miracle in me.
When you were just starting off in the recovery process and you felt an urge to reach for the bottle, what would you do to control your urge? I'm sorry.
No, not a problem. I think the urge has never really gone away. I still get urges from time to time. And the best way I can explain an urge to drink is, have you ever had a song stuck in your head and you don't know why it got in there and it just keeps playing over and over and over again? That's kind of like an urge to drink. That's what an alcoholic goes through. And so what I do still to this day, and what I did early in my recovery, is I would play the entire tape out. So what that basically means is I literally sit there and think about every single step that would occur once I started drinking. So I sit there, I think. So for example, I have a beer. Okay, more than likely I'm going to have another one, because that's exactly what would happen every single time. So I sit there, I have one or two beers. Now, the thing that I was trying to get away from, whether it was a bad day at work, whether it's certain feelings that I was trying to run away from, or whatever it may be, I'm still sitting with those feelings. Those feelings never went away. So now I'm drunk. I'm feeling really shameful because I drank. Now I have to reach out to my loved ones, meaning my girlfriend, my family members, my sponsors, and tell them, hey, I relapsed. I drank. And that trust and that trust that I earned, I completely lost. And everything that I worked so hard for, everything that I really wanted, I just lost. So when I play that whole tape out, I think about it. Is it worth it? It's absolutely not worth it.
Yeah. Our next question is, do you have any advice for us as high school students?
The best piece of advice I can say, it's the easiest one, is wait till you're 21. But I get it. I've been your age. I remember being at your age and wanting to have fun or wanting to fit in, and I never thought I'd be the guy that would become an alcoholic. I never thought I would get a DUI driving under the influence at the age of 20, before I was legally able to buy alcohol. I never thought I would get into 3 major car accidents and completely wreck my car. I thank God every day that I didn't either kill myself or, even worse, kill someone else, because that could have easily have happened. My biggest piece of advice is, if you are drinking, it's not too late to stop. Don't let your story end up like mine. And if you feel like you do have a problem, the wonderful thing is that there's a textbook solution to a textbook problem. And you can just ask for help. The help is there. You are loved, you are appreciated, and you have family that cares about you.
Stick around to have some fun instead.
For the fudgy brownie, you will need 200 grams of semi-sweet dark chocolate, half cup of butter, 1 cup of granulated sugar, half cup of brown sugar, 3 medium-sized eggs, quarter teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence, half cup of all-purpose flour, and a quarter cup of cocoa powder.
First, grease a 7 by 7 inch dark metal pan with melted butter and lined with parchment paper, leaving overhang on all sides. Then, preheat your oven at 350 Fahrenheit or 180 Celsius. Now, take a little water in a saucepan and bring it to a simmer. In the meantime, cut the chocolate into small pieces and place them in a heat-resistant bowl. Now place the bowl on top of the simmering water, making sure that the bottom of the bowl isn't touching the water. Then add half a cup of butter to the bowl. Now whisk the chocolate and the butter together until it melts. After the chocolate completely melts and becomes smooth, take it off the heat and let it cool. In the meantime, in a separate bowl, take both the sugar, now add 1 egg at a time, and mix properly using a hand whisk. When the mixture is a little creamy, add the salt, the vanilla essence, and cooled chocolate and butter mixture. Mix everything well. The batter will have a thicker consistency. Finally, sift the flour and the cacao powder into the bowl and carefully fold them into the mixture using a spatula. Now, pour the batter into the prepared baking pan, then gently shake and tap the tin a couple of times to spread the batter evenly. Bake it in the preheated oven for about 30 minutes. When your brownie is baked, take it out of the oven and let it cool for at least 15 minutes. Now slice them into 9 squares and enjoy your warm, fudgy brownies.
Hey, are we live right now? Alright, thanks. For more guidance on the subject, we will visit resources where all your questions will be answered. Alright, let's move on.
Here are some alcohol recovery hotlines. The Mindos, 866-331-2920, provides the help stop your addiction. National helpline number like 1-844-289-0879. Contact with professionals who understand your problems. They will help and support you. Alcoholism Treatment Hotline.
352-771-2700. Make sure to jot down these resources if you or a loved one needs help quitting alcohol. And remember, you are not alone.
Alcohol is a drug. It could be used in good ways and bad ways though. Good because it is used in medicines like antiseptic, disinfectant, and antidote. It's also helpful in hospitals to disinfect skin. It's bad because it can cause depression, which doesn't help you make good decisions. You're not aware of your actions and it is dangerous for your health. For your health, it can cause cancer, heart disease, and etc. But alcohol is very addictive, so please be careful you drink because many people still do it no matter what. So please just be careful. I'm Esmeralda and thanks for listening.